Welcome into the weekend sports kickoff. I am Devin Albertson. Thanks to our producers, Max Moore. Hi, Max. I see you. I just see Max over there.
Max getting a lot of
across
credit.
from me. But also thanks to you, Caleb and Joseph, and also with Shane Webb for getting us on air here this afternoon. But we're going to start with Bearcat Sports here on X106. And if you look at Bearcat Sports, this week the football team goes down to Tahlequah, Oklahoma to take on Northeastern State. And guys, pretty big mismatch in this game if you look at Northwest and Northeastern.
Northeastern State's a football team that's been at the bottom of the conference for a while. They've struggled for a while. They just haven't been able to get anything going, and it's really this is an uneven matchup. Both sides of the ball. Northeastern State doesn't have a great offense. They have one of the bottom defenses in the nation. This is a chance for Northwest to gain a little bit of momentum, hopefully gain a little bit of confidence on the offensive side of the football, and get things rolling as we head into some more difficult games in the next few weeks.
And this is a team, when you look at Northeastern State, that I think is capable of giving up some points if the offense can get going. They've given up 31, 49, 68, 31, 65, 44. They've scored 69 combined points through 6 games, so not a very high-potent offense. So this could be, like you said, a big confidence booster for the Bearcats this week.
One thing with Northeastern State, if they're the bottom 10 or 12 in all of these categories in D2, there's 168 schools in Division II. They are bottom 15 or so in scoring offense, total offense, rushing offense, scoring defense, total defense, and rush defense. They are just not a good team. They allow 270 yards almost on the ground per game. Massey, which is a kind of the ESPN Football Power Index version for D2, predicts the score to be 41-3. So that's kind of their prediction. I said earlier this week on my other show, my Facebook Live show, I said 52-0 for Northwest. I think Northwest is able to clamp down, maybe get a defensive score, and just be able to get healthy for this game. It's almost going to be like Missouri Southern's game, I think, in my opinion, this one. But since we're on the road, we'll have a little bit less guys to put in late. We'll just kind of keep our foot off the pedal a little bit and just cruise to a win.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, the offensive performance last week was a little underwhelming, I think, so let's hope they can kind of plant some momentum here this next week.
I know it was announced today officially. Devontae Mosby, former Northwest Missouri State basketball player, was a senior last year in the basketball team. He has 1 year of eligibility for football, and he's playing this year 6'5", 220, originally from Independence, Missouri, went to Fort Osage High School. Of course, William Jewell before he came to Northwest for basketball, and he was on the national championship team last year, and just adds another big, tall receiver next to Kennedy Sykes pretty much on the outside.
Well, and this guy's got Mosby's got a lot of athletic ability.
Yes, he does.
I think I don't know how much of a quote-unquote football player he's going to be.
He was All-State in high school. I know it's high school, but he was All-State in high school in football.
He is a very good athlete. I think he's going to use that to his advantage. He's going to go out there and, like say, because it's been 3 years since he's played plus.
Yeah.
So that's one thing where you look at that and see, okay, I'm not sure exactly how good of a football player he's going to be, but he's just going to go out there and be a raw athlete, and he's going to go up. He's going to try to make whatever plays he can, and he's somebody we saw during basketball season. This is a guy that works hard.
Yep.
No matter what he's doing, he's going to go out there and he's going to work for the team, and I think that's something that this team needs, especially on the offensive side of the football.
And we know Mosby does a good job of getting rebounds and boxing out. You can use that ability translates well to the football field when it comes to jump balls in the end zone. So I think one thing that he might get some playing time. I don't know if he's going to play time tomorrow or not, but it might be a good situation to get him playing time versus Northeastern State. If you're up big late, be like, hey, we're going to throw you out there a little bit, get your feet wet a little bit, maybe use him later on the year, and that could be helpful to get Mosby in there versus a underwhelming Riverhawks team, and to get him so that he's ready for the games later on the year if we say play Fort Hays or Missouri Western, teams like that.
What are the odds do you think he gets some playing time tomorrow?
It just kind of depends on how well. I know he plays receiver, so it's not like he has to learn intricate blocking schemes like an offensive lineman or something like that. So I think he could play earlier because it's mainly his position on athleticism than anything else, and being on the same page with your quarterback a little bit. And if he's going to be running minimal routes, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So I say 50-50 maybe. I mean, I kind of want to see him out there just so he can get his feet wet versus an inferior opponent a little bit, just to get his back in the football groove a little bit there. As Ryan said, it's been 4 or 5 years since he's actually been on a football field playing with a helmet and shoulder pads on, just to get him that experience a little bit and see if it maybe pays off down the road, whether it's playing for the conference title versus Fort Hays, maybe into the playoffs. Maybe this experience now will help him get better for the team, just help them shore up the receiving core a little bit. That's a little bit decimated right now. 203 total, so pretty impressive. Their defense only 7 points allowed per game. They just got another star to add to that defensive front. So we'll see what happens there. We're going to take a quick break on the weekend sports kickoff. Welcome back into the weekend sports kickoff on X106 and KNWT Channel 8. I am Devin Albertson, joined by Sean Nino, Ryan Elliott, and Trevor Mater. We had Joseph Andrews on earlier, our producer, during the Maryville football segment. Of course, KNWT Facebook Live has the Maryville game tonight versus Lafayette, 6:45 kickoff, 7 o'clock. No, 6:45 pregame show, 7 o'clock kickoff. I am all sorts of messed up right now. But we're good. We're going to college football. Our pick'ems last week, Ryan and myself both went 4-1. Sean and Joe both went 3-2, and Trevor via Max went 2-3.
Well, they're my picks.
How did that work out? Like, we just
gave
Trevor's
Trevor his
picks.
picks.
'Cause
Okay.
Well,
he did pick Jack.
I think he actually went better
No,
with Max.
those are the
You
next
would have been
picks.
better if you had gone with
Whatever.
We pretty much whatever happens, we give Trevor the worst picks possible, and then we just go with that.
I
Which is
figured.
why he's in last place
Yeah.
right now.
It's okay. The season's only halfway done.
Yeah, because right now, overall, Ryan and myself both 17-8. Sean 16-9. Joseph is at 15-10, and then Trevor right there 11-14.
I mean, he's doing better than when he first started, so we got to give him that. It's not much better. It's like he's
That
he
4-1
started
week
off
really
as
helped
a-
him out
I was almost 5-0 that week.
because you were 7-13 other than that week. All right, the next game we have here, number 10 Auburn at LSU, 2:30 kickoff on CBS. Auburn is a 7-point road favorite. We'll start with Trevor. Who do you got in this one? I know Joseph, he has Auburn. Who do you have? Which Tiger do you have?
I'm going to go the Auburn Tigers.
'Kay.
LSU is just kind of an up-and-down team this year. I know they play really well at home, but unless they're playing Troy. So I'm going to go with Auburn. I think Auburn's probably the third best team in the SEC right now.
Yeah, them and Georgia right there for second and third, in most people's eyes.
Yeah.
So you got Auburn in this one. How about you, Ryan?
Auburn. There's just, honestly, statistically and in every other scenario, there's no reason LSU should win this game other than the fact that they're at Tiger Stadium. So that would be the only saving grace for LSU, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Auburn.
What about you, Sean?
So, quick question: aren't both of these teams their stadiums named Death Valley?
No, it's Clemson.
Clemson.
Oh
and
man, I'm
LSU.
getting all sort of confused about a different Tiger. There's a lot of tigers. We need to
That one Tiger Stadium named Death Valley. I don't know. There's one or
like, they need
two.
to get like a different sort of tiger, like maybe like a small little cat or something. You know, like instead of a tiger, they can be like. Come on, I don't know. I'm going to pick Auburn because this game isn't going to be interesting, unless LSU makes it interesting. But meh.
It's Jordan Hare Stadium for Auburn, by the way.
Well, yeah,
Well, that wasn't the question.
I know, but he was saying Tiger Stadium.
good for you. But I'm going to go Auburn,
Sean.
and because all of us picked Auburn, LSU's probably going to win because I picked this team. So just know that all of your picks are probably doomed.
Yeah, Sean's really struggled this year in the SEC with pick'ems. Just in general. We picked SEC State like 3 weeks in a row, and he got every one of them wrong.
Sean got an SEC game. You got the Florida-Tennessee game right this year, didn't you?
Technically, because the defender didn't know how to cover a guy. So thank you.
Thank you, Butch Jones, in that one. But the only thing you've done right for Sean so far this year.
Well, he hasn't done anything right for Tennessee, so.
That's true. Next game, we'll go to the ACC. Georgia Tech at number 11, Miami. 2:30 kickoff on ABC. Miami is a 6.5-point favorite in this one versus the Yellow Jackets. So we're going to go, Joseph, he has Miami. We'll go back to Ryan this time. Ryan, who do you have in this game?
I'm taking Miami. I think Miami's looked really good this year. They won the close game last week, and Georgia Tech is a tough team to defend, but their defense hasn't really looked great to me. They haven't allowed a whole lot of yardage, but they've allowed some points off of that yardage, which is interesting, meaning that they're giving teams pretty good field position usually. Yep. And again, if you can stop the option, if you can take the quarterback out of play for Georgia Tech, you've stopped their entire offense.
Yeah.
If you can take Marshall out of play, Taquan Marshall, the quarterback, if you can take him out of play, you've stopped the entire offense for Georgia Tech. And I think Miami's defense is going to have a chance to do that this week, so I'm going with the Hurricanes.
Trevor.
I think Miami's for real. Give me the Hurricanes.
The U is back.
All about the U.
Sean, how about you?
They're back.
They are back. They're number 11 in the nation. They're back.
I mean, if that's what you define as back, I think I need to see them. I am very high on the Hurricanes, but I mean this game is always interesting because Georgia Tech playing the triple option. You're always going to have a thing where did you actually have enough time to get ready for it? But I think the Hurricanes kind of had a test last week, and I think they will be ready for this week. But it'll be interesting to see because again, triple option, crazy to see.
And right now, both these teams are 2-0 in conference play, both in the coastal region of the ACC, and then of course the other side you have Clemson, NC State undefeated in their bracket. Also Virginia's 1-0, but no one really thinks Virginia is really that good this year. So we'll see what happens here. But Miami versus Georgia Tech, I will take the Hurricanes as well. I think they're able to win this game. The spread was up to 9 earlier this week. I was going to take Georgia Tech in the points, but I think with the spread down to 6.5, I might take Miami in this one, minus 6.5. That touchdown, that little hook there might be able to get me enough for take Miami in that one. Next game, we're going to the Red River Rivalry. It's always tough to say that one. Number 12, Oklahoma at Texas, 2:30 kickoff on ESPN. The third 2:30 kickoff we have in our pick'ems. We have Oklahoma as a 9-point home, not really home, at the Cotton Bowl for this game. Who do you have, Sean?
So I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that did this. I don't know exactly why I did this, but it went under the understanding. I was like, you know what would be a really Oklahoma thing to do? Lose a game at home to Iowa State. You know what would be even more Oklahoma?
Lose to Texas.
To then lose to Texas. And I mean, everyone else does not pick Texas. This is a pick to try and get back in the standings or try and solidify a lead. But this game has some weird stuff happen every single year. And so I think this is a game that'll be interesting. Even if Texas doesn't win, I think it's close.
How about you, Ryan?
I picked Oklahoma for safety's sake in the standings.
Fair.
But I think that this is a game that Texas can win. I think Oklahoma is reeling a little bit after the loss to Iowa State. There are a lot of questions being asked in Norman right now. And this can go one of two ways. Oklahoma can be angry and step into AT&T Stadium, or it's in the Cotton Bowl rather.
Yep.
Step into the Cotton Bowl and just wipe the floor with Texas, or they can kind of crawl back into their shell a little bit, get a little bit timid, and Texas could potentially take this game over if that's the case. But I'm picking Oklahoma for safety in the rankings.
I know Joe's taking Oklahoma as well. How about you, Trevor?
Well, I am going to go with Oklahoma, and I think it is not pretty. I think we're going to see an angry Oklahoma team. I think Texas is playing better, but Oklahoma's going to get stuff figured out in this game. And I they lost to Iowa State last week, but this isn't a bad Iowa State team. I know when you're a 31-point favorite, you shouldn't lose at home. This isn't a bad Iowa State team, but Oklahoma just couldn't get it done. So I think they're going to be angry and
Get him, Ryan.
No. Nothing, this has nothing to do with Trevor.
Oh,
something
dang
to
it.
think about. By the transitive property of college football,
I love this.
is Iowa better than Ohio
Oklahoma lost to Iowa State 38-31. Texas defeated Iowa State 17-7. That means it's a 17-point victory for Texas in this game.
Boom.
Okay.
Works
then
every
if
time.
I-
Win, Sean.
State? And that would also mean that Iowa is
no,
better
no.
than Oklahoma by 10 points.
No Iowa.
Dude,
Well, you just got muted.
your mic's on now, Trevor.
How unfortunate. It's okay, Trevor.
I'm kidding. You can talk. What's your Iowa thing?
well, by the transitive property or whatever that is.
It doesn't work for in-state
Iowa and
rivals.
Oklahoma aren't playing each other, so it doesn't work that
It doesn't work for in-state
But if they
rivals.
did.
No. It only works for two teams that are playing each other.
It doesn't work for rivalry
So you're
games.
saying Texas should be a 17-point favorite?
Yeah.
Definitely. That's what Vegas.
Gutsy. I
Vegas
just,
is completely wrong.
this just feels like a game that Oklahoma
Even
can
though
come
I'm picking
into
Oklahoma.
and make it really ugly. So I'm going to go with the Sooners.
So that's our picks for this week. We'll go through the top 25, the AP real quick. The top 10 teams they have ranked: Alabama, Clemson, Penn State, Georgia at 4, Washington, TCU, Wisconsin at 7, Washington State, Ohio State, and then Auburn at number 10, the top 10. Kind of a few surprises in there that we wouldn't have expected at the beginning of the year with Georgia, TCU, and Washington State cracking the top 10 midway through the season.
fact.
So what do you guys think about this season so far, just kind of how it's been working itself out as we get later in the year?
Been wild. I mean, who thought that Oklahoma and USC would both go down? I mean, Oklahoma maybe to Ohio State earlier on the year, but who had Oklahoma losing to Iowa State? Who had
Probably
USC?
only you because you grew up in Iowa.
Yeah,
I mean, it's honestly people who are gonna pick that, and
Even some
not
of them
even
are-
pick that. Still, it's just like, interesting.
yeah. So it's just been interesting the way the top 10 has shaped up so far, and we're only halfway done.
What do you think so far, Ryan, through through 6 weeks or so.
It's been a lot of fun. You know, you mentioned the upsets. There's been some pretty good matchups. As we had Oklahoma, Ohio State earlier in the year. We've had
Auburn, Clemson.
And then the top 10 matchup with Florida State and Alabama to begin the year. You know, there's been some marquee matchups, and then there's also been some big time upsets. You mentioned Iowa State taking down Oklahoma, also Michigan State downing Michigan at the Big House for the second time in a row.
Howard beating UNLV.
Howard over UNLV. And speaking of which, here we go with the transitive property one more time.
Let's go.
This is why we were talking about this at Student Media Day the other day as well. This is why Howard is better than Florida.
This is great.
LSU beats Florida 17-16. All right. Troy beats LSU 24-21. South Alabama beats Troy 19-8. Idaho beats South Alabama 29-23. UNLV over Idaho 44-16, and Howard over UNLV, meaning Howard better than Florida.
I love it. I think there was a way last year where Northwest was better than Clemson. I can't remember which
There
one.
were 2 years
It
ago.
was like
the
10 ways
the
to-
Northwest was better than Bama. I think the Kansas City Star had.
Yeah, I think it was actually last year too because Clemson lost to Pitt, and Pitt lost to somebody. And it was just
NC
like
State,
it was
probably.
all the way down. It was great to see a D2 school somehow through transitive property.
I have the. I was able to find the.
How many
hour-
steps of it is it?
Okay, so this is going back to. Oh man,
2015?
it is a ton of steps.
Yeah, so
We
like,
don't have
But we don't
time.
have time
list
for
it
this.
off, but just like a
How many steps are there? How many steps?
I can't even say.
yes.
Come on,
Just
Iowa,
some
count.
highlights.
We'll just go real quick. Alabama lost to Mississippi. This is 2 years ago. Mississippi lost to Arkansas. Arkansas lost to Toledo. Toledo lost to Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois lost to Ohio. Ohio lost to Buffalo. Buffalo lost to Massachusetts. Massachusetts lost to Ball State. Ball State lost to Georgia State. Georgia State lost to Liberty. Liberty lost to Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois lost to Southeast Missouri. Southeast Missouri lost to Shorter University.
Oh, geez.
Shorter University lost to Carson Newman. Carson Newman lost to Lenore-Rhine. Lenore-Rhine lost to Mars Hill. Mars Hill lost to Catawba College. Catawba College lost to Wingate. Wingate lost to Tusculum. Tusculum lost to Virginia State. Virginia State lost to Cal of Pennsylvania. Cal of Pennsylvania lost to Slippery Rock. And Slippery Rock lost to Shepherd, who lost to Northwest.
Wow.
So it only takes about 27 steps, but Northwest was better than Bama in 2015.
Okay,
Isn't that great radio?
That was terrific right there with how Division II power is better than the powerhouse it is
National
Alabama.
Powerhouse, yeah.
So we'll see how that works out for him. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NFL and what's going to go on this week. We're going to start with Chiefs and Steelers in that one and move into our picks. So you're listening to the Weekend Sports Kickoff on X106 and KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back into the Weekend Sports Kickoff on X106. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Sean Dino, Ryan Elliott, and Trevor Mader, produced by Caleb and Joseph. No, those,
They didn't even get last names. So
Nope.
sad. It's okay.
they're faceless here. Your mic's off,
Trevor
Joseph. I'm
contributing
sorry.
to the intro.
I just thought I would add to it a little bit.
Anything to add over there, Joseph?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, thank you.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, so now he's Mr. Andrews. Okay.
It's official.
At first he didn't have a last name, and now he is a Mr. Andrews.
Well, started to be official here. So we'll go to the NFL now. Here on the Weekend Sports Kickoff, we made our picks for college football. Now on to the NFL. For last week, 2-3 for Joe, Trevor, and myself. 1-4 for Ryan and Sean. Tough week for those two.
Second
Back
picking
to
games.
back 1 and 4 weeks for me.
You were doing so well.
I was in the lead by 2 games, and now I'm back-to-back 1 and 4 weeks. Now I'm a game back of Joe.
I mean, honestly, we're all really garbage at picking games. I'm just the most garbage. like if we were all a collective dumpster fire, I would be the most
Fuel.
on fire or
You'd be
least
the
on
fuel.
fire. I don't know how this.
You'd be the ignition, the igniter there. You'd
No,
be the-
because that means I could get things right. I just I would be. The
you would mess up the
water on
dumpster
our
fire. You would mess up the dumpster fire. Is what you would
Yeah,
do.
I try, but it's okay.
So right now, overall, Joseph is 10-15. Myself and Ryan are both 14
15 and 10.
15. I'm sorry,
15 and 10.
15 and 10. Myself and Ryan are both 14 and 11.
I am 14 and 11.
Trevor is 13 and 12.
Devin is
and
13
Sean
and
is 12 and 13. I am 14.
Trevor is also 13 and 12. Sean is 12 and 13.
I am 14 and 11.
No.
Yes.
that's not-
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is. I got that game right.
Here's the deal.
I got the game right.
Here's the deal. If you had known that the rule was in place, you still would have took the job.
No, I wouldn't have.
Guaranteed.
No, I would not have taken
For those
Odell.
of you that don't understand what Devin is
Week
complaining
one.
about, back in week 1 we made our pick for the Giants-Cowboys. Devin picked the Giants, and then it came out on Sunday evening that Odell Beckham Jr. was not going to play.
Versus the Cowboys.
And Devin sent in our group message that he wanted the Cowboys. Well, the collective powers overruled him and decided that he shouldn't. He was stuck with this pick. So.
I am the producer of the show. It goes through.
No, you're not.
Joe's the producer of the show.
I am the producer of the talent on air. So it
Earlier
goes
you
through.
were saying Max Moore was the producer.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, my heart.
We've had 3 different producers today.
We
and
have
the show's
2.
only an hour and.
We officially have 2. We have Joseph on our TV side, which we appreciate greatly, and then I am the radio side of it. So we have 1411 for myself. I don't
Yeah,
care
but
what
Joe
the
makes
graphic
the
says.
graphics.
Okay, yes, the graphics can be wrong. It's fine. In my heart, I will relitigate this every chance I get. I am
You know,
1411.
That's going to cost a lot of money. Do
It
you really
will.
want to do that?
I will
every
fight
time?
this. I will fight this to the very
What
end.
if, like, every time he does it, he has to, like, give
Let's
like, a
start-
penny?
let's start like a
how-
dollar jar.
How fast is this man going to be broke due to pennies? Come on.
Can at least next week we get at least a cross out like to the graphics, so it looks like so at least I feel good about myself.
No.
Okay.
Hey, kid.
Absolutely not. Both of our TV guys say no as well.
Oh, well, anyways, I'm still
Okay.
14-11. I'm only a game back at Joseph.
That's fine.
Anyways, we'll go with the first game of the week. This week we're not picking this game. We're just going to talk about it real quick. The Steelers at the Chiefs. Chiefs right now are a 3.5-point favorite at home. What do you guys got in this one? We'll go with you first, Sean. What do you think about this game right here? Does it scare you?
No, I've lived my life as a Chiefs fan, and I've been disappointed year after year. And you know what this game feels like? A big, hopping heap of disappointment where Big Ben comes off of a game throwing 5 picks, and he's like, you know what would be really nice right now? If I threw for 727 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Smashing the NFL record.
You know, it just feels like
554.
it just feels like the type of game that I'm going to watch on Sunday. Within the first 3 minutes of the game, be like, this is a bad Sunday afternoon. I really hope the Chiefs can win. I have this lingering feeling everywhere in my body that's like, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be sad for the next day and a half.
How about you?
So your prediction is move over Norm Van Brocklin. Here comes Ben Roethlisberger with 726
Didn't
passing
you get
yards.
close to the record?
27. Hey, you better give him
27,
yards.
okay.
He got close to the record one time, didn't he?
I
Against
don't
was like the
remember.
It
Colts
doesn't
or-
matter. I
The
just feel
record's
like
still 554.
Yeah.
there's a very big part of me that's like, you know what? The Chiefs are going to get smoked this week. Then they're going to be a fraud to everybody. And then there's another side of me that's like, yeah, but they're 5-0. They have the offensive pieces. They got the defense going really well, kind of. And so it's like, oh, there's there's a good side to everything. But I can't get past the fact that the Steelers did what they did last year after coming off a bad week, and that game was over halfway through the first. And then the playoff game happened, and Trevor was there. Trevor doesn't even know what happened because he's tried to block it out of his brain. He's done.
We'll go to you, Ryan, before we go to Trevor.
It seems like every time I've said the Chiefs have a chance to lose, they've won. So,
So say it again.
yeah, and they do. They do. This could be an angry Steelers team. And why does it always seem to happen?
I mean,
that
last
the
year
Kansas
against
City
Philly?
Chiefs play the Pittsburgh Steelers after they get blown out by a team they shouldn't have.
Last year it was the Eagles went 34-3. This year it's the Jaguars 30-9 of all teams.
But the difference I think is that this Steelers defense is not as good. They gave up 181 yards last week to Leonard Fournette. There's a chance for Kareem Hunt to put up a big number this week. I think if he does, and the defense can get some pressure on Big Ben, then this goes the Chiefs' way, and it goes their way fairly handily, I would say. But if something falls apart in that equation, if they don't put pressure on Big Ben, or if Kareem Hunt doesn't have a big day, then they're going to be in trouble.
How about you? What do you think, Trevor?
Sean, unfortunately, I do remember that game.
I don't think you remember as much as you want to.
I do. I remember it
All
being.
of it?
I think so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I won't reiterate any further on that. It was very sad. I agree, Sean. I think this has the makings of being a potential smoking for the Chiefs. I mean, when I saw that Jacksonville laid 30 on Pittsburgh last week, my instant thought was, and I even texted Sean this, I said, Pittsburgh's going to blow Kansas City out next week. I just have this fear that I really hope that Phillip Gaines doesn't get matched up with Antonio Brown. I really, really hope that
It's
doesn't
gonna
happen.
happen.
It's going to happen, and he's going to make him cry.
It doesn't matter. It could be Juju Smith-Schuster, and he's still going to torch Philip Gaines.
True.
It could be
So-
Big Ben lined up against Philip Gaines. He would still torch him because Philip Gaines apparently can't cover anybody.
Yeah. So I could see the Chiefs hanging around in this game, and I think there are some weaknesses you can expose with Pittsburgh, But the Chiefs fan in me, like Sean, that has seen this story before, just kind of has a gut feeling of how it's going to go, and I think it's going to go with the Steelers winning and me having to deal with my annoying Steelers fan friends for the next till at least January.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Kickoff on X106 and KNWT Channel 8.